and welcome to Elements of Ayurveda, Empowering Wisdom of Life. I'm your host, Colette, and in this podcast, I hope to empower you to take charge of your own health by sharing the holistic teachings of Ayurveda, the ancient healing tradition from India. We will also discuss topics like health and wellness, nutrition, yoga, fitness, meditation, breath work, and much more, as well as interviewing lots of inspiring people along the way. My humble wish is to help you to connect to your true nature, to Mother Nature, and to each other. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the show, and the new episodes will automatically download for you to enjoy. If you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend you listen to the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. I've also set up a Facebook group for us to connect and to support each other, and I'd love for you to join me over at Elements of Ayurveda podcast group. And now, here's the show. Hi there. So this is a very exciting episode because the Elements of Ayurveda podcast is officially 1 year old. I started out August 10th, 2017. And here we are a year later, and it's going great, and I love it, and I love connecting with you guys out there. Of course, I record these shows, put them out there, and hope that you find the information useful. I'm hearing great feedback, and I really appreciate that. When I hear from you in our Elements of Ayurveda podcast group, and I put polls out there, I want to know what you want to hear more of. You give me great feedback. We also are on there answering questions and supporting each other. And it's just been a great journey. You know, I initially started it because I really felt that I wanted to get Ayurveda out there. I felt that this was the missing link that people needed. After years in the health and fitness industry and being a yoga teacher, the information I had was great. But when I finally learned more about Ayurveda and experienced it in my own body when I did that Panchakarma cleanse, I was just blown away being reintroduced to it again, because of course I learned about it initially in the early 2000s in my yoga course. But it wasn't until I got out of balance and had my own healing experience using Ayurveda, which I've covered in another episode, the Bali Healing in Bali episode. So if you haven't heard that episode, you can check it out there. But yeah, when I experienced my own healing, that's when I was like, oh my goodness, this is the missing link. This is the link that, you know, my personal training clients at the time could really benefit from. It's all about understanding your true nature, and that there's no one size fits all. And so many light bulb moments went off for me as soon as I went through that cleanse, and then of course decided this is it. You know, this is when I wanted to add to my repertoire and started studying it. And so I wanted to get it out there, get this information out there for people, you know, because the yoga has its benefits and it's fantastic. But I felt like the sister science of Ayurveda would really help people understand their own true nature. And so my idea in starting the podcast was really to empower people to take charge of their own health instead of outsourcing it to the doctors, really having an active part in their health. And I felt like by understanding their unique mind-body type, understanding their tendencies towards imbalance and what are the signs of imbalance in their body and how to bring their body back into balance naturally using foods and lifestyle and mindfulness techniques, and educating people on how to do this for their particular constitution, I felt that that would help people really feel empowered and confident to take charge of their own health. And, you know, it was my humble wish, as I say in the intro, to help people to connect to themselves or their true nature, because I believe once we're in balance, once our subtle channels are flowing, we have that intuition about our passions, our desires, and what it is we really want to do in this world. And then I also wanted to help people to connect to Mother Nature, and we do that by connecting to the circadian rhythms, which is very important in Ayurveda. It's very important to connect to the 24-hour clock, our internal clock. And also to connect to each other. I felt that by understanding the different mind-body types, that you really gain compassion for other people. And, we realizing that not everyone runs the same way as you do. Not everyone has the same operating system. And I know myself by learning the differences with the different mind-body types or constitutions, it helped me to have more compassion for others. And so therefore I felt that by educating people on these different mind-body types, it would help us to understand people better and therefore have more compassion, which is a quality I think we need more of in this world. And by doing so and bringing ourselves into balance, I felt that we could connect with each other better. And this is definitely something that we need more of in the world, more connection. So, it's been a great year. I started off as a bi-weekly show and decided, I'm just going to, take it slow and see how it goes, because I wasn't too sure how much time it would take up, because I had heard that, talk to people before I started, and I was asking them, how much time does it take out of your week and so on. So I decided the best thing to do is start bi-weekly, and I did a podcasting course and went through a whole setup there, which was fantastic, got me started. And so then I continued on bi-weekly from August 2017 until April 2018. And then I decided, I'm going to go weekly. I'm going to bite the bullet and just do it, because the show was going great. It was going really well. I was getting great feedback. People were very, very interested in the information. And so I decided that this is it. I want to continue doing this, and I want to invest my time and energy in this. And I felt like this is, my dharma, my purpose here is to help share this information and to get it out there, especially to those people who may not normally have access to it. I'm hearing a lot from people in small towns, or that they don't have, a lot of resources. And some people, you can say access online, but some people are, don't have time for courses, or, busy moms or dads. So with a podcast is great because you can listen on the go, as you know, and you can be driving the kids to school on your way back, maybe listen to it, or when you're exercising. So I feel that for some people who don't have much screen time to really research these topics because they have busy lives, which most of us do now, I think the podcast is a great way to go, because you can be doing other activities and getting this information on the go. So now, as you know, we're a weekly show and we're up to 40,000 downloads. I'll get you the exact number now. Let's see. It's just jumped up in the last couple of months. We're at now 42,000 downloads. And that is just fantastic. I'm blown away by that. And I hear so many people telling me that they're sharing with their friends, and I really appreciate it. But this episode is not just going to be me talking. I want you to hear from some of the people who've gone through my courses, and I have a little blooper reel to share with you too. So let's start off by hearing from Sabine, who went through the Daily Habits course with me, and she was so enthusiastic about the course and really benefited from it, and she was so kind to come on and share her experience. So here's Sabine sharing her experience on the Daily Habits for a Holistic Health course. Hi, Sabine.
Hi, Colette.
Thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing your experience with others. I really appreciate it. And I'd love for you to tell us about how Ayurveda came into your life.
All right. Well, Ayurveda has been really amazing for me. It was 4 years ago. I was diagnosed with a burnout and going through a very difficult time. And unfortunately, none of the treatments I went through worked for me. And so my physician said that the only thing that was left was to take antidepressant pills.
Wow. And so what were your symptoms? You were exhausted?
I was exhausted, very stressed. I had panic attacks, and I have a busy life.
Right.
And so he was like, well, you're not going to be able to change your busy life. So, the pills would be the only thing that was left for you.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I did, and feeling like a zombie afterwards, and very unhappy that it had come to a point that I was taking medicine to cope with my daily life.
Right, and that medicine was having you feeling like a zombie, that
yes.
disconnected.
Yes, very disconnected, and not true to who I was at all.
Yeah.
And then I found an ad for Ayurvedic treatment, and it was about 2 years later.
Okay.
And I figured I could give it a try, not knowing what it really meant.
Right.
And 6 weeks later, I was off the antidepressant pills.
Oh, wow. What did you do that first time?
I think it was sort of a panchakarma, I think it was called.
Okay, so you did a cleanse.
I did a cleanse, and I got a lot of herbs, and like it's a detox plan.
Great.
And that's where my interest in Ayurveda began.
Yeah.
I was really amazed.
Fantastic. And you were able to get off the antidepressants.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the huge start. I felt better, but nothing had changed in my life.
Okay. Okay. So you took time out. You did this cleanse, and then you went back to.
Yes. And then I went back to my busy life because I thought that was how that was what it was supposed to be, my life. Mm-hmm. And then I couldn't afford the treatment anymore because it was very expensive. So I started looking on the internet for more information. And I found your podcast.
Hey, I'm glad.
Yeah, and I fell in love with the podcast immediately, and was listening to them, and it was great. And so I went to your website to find more information, and I came across the Daily Habits course.
Right, the Daily Habits for Holistic Health course.
Yes,
yeah, that's right.
Yes, and I think it started a day later, so it's just really meant to be.
Yes. Yeah, so I do a couple of times a year, just to explain to people, I do group formats of this course where it's at a reduced price and reduced format, and then you can do it privately at any time because it's a 4-week self-paced course. But it's nice to do it in the group format because you have support along the way. You have a whole group that's going through it. Yeah, so go ahead, tell me about your experience.
Well, that was the beginning of the biggest change. Learning the daily habits and about the circadian rhythms. And, starting the breathing exercises in the morning. I mean, I never thought, how did I ever do without those?
Right. You find those really help you first thing.
Yeah, it's such a good start, just to wake up and do them. And, also in the afternoon, it was, I was always really busy. And, you taught me to take time out in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I did. Yeah. I have 3 teenage girls.
Yes. That was the biggest thing of all, I feel, that we had to discuss, right?
Yeah. And I work at home as well, so, it was chaotic. But so, so I planned so that I was able to be free in the afternoon. Yeah. And just sitting there and having my tea and, just letting them come towards me.
Yes.
Having time, just being present.
Yes. I remember having a big conversation with you about that because you were so busy at this time, or, were trying to finish up your day at work. The girls were coming in from school. And, and of course, then there would be aggravation because you're trying to finish work and they want your attention. And, So I remember just almost saying, okay, you have permission to stop work at this time and just be there for them. Yeah.
Yes, because I realized then I was also addicted to being busy.
Yeah.
It was just what I was doing.
Many of us the same. Yes. Yeah.
And so I sat down, and the first day I sat down, my 15-year-old came towards me, and she just started talking about how she was feeling and really opening up to me. Oh. And that was such a huge gift. Yeah. Just being there, just connecting with her. Yeah. And it happened instantly, which I thought was amazing.
Right. So as soon as you grabbed your cup of tea and sat down and shut down the computer.
Yeah. And also my mind just in presence with her, just being there with her.
Wow.
So that was a really big thing. That brought us up, together.
Yeah, and I think that no matter what age your child is, like you think sometimes, teenagers, they're often doing their own thing, they're independent, but they still want that attention. They still want that connection.
They do. Mm-hmm. They just want you to, I always thought I had to do something for them.
Right.
But actually all they want me to be there for them, to be there and be open for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's funny how a lot of us need that permission. It's like, it's okay to stop work at this time and And I know for you, because you have that high Vata constitution, it's like, no,
Yes.
it's for your health and well-being. It's important for you to stop work at this time of the afternoon, because this is when stress can rise in your body in accordance with the circadian rhythms. Yeah. So that's great.
And,
so you noticed that straight away.
Yes, I did. And I have my youngest, she's 13. She wanted me to massage her. So I was giving her massages every night.
Oh my gosh.
It's really nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was really nice as well. And, it's and turning off my phone at 6 or around 6, that was, really good as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to quieten down and just, not looking at my phone, but just looking around, looking around my life, just walking with the dog in the evening. And it's, that's a big thing too. Just turning off the phone.
And the thing is, with these daily habits, aren't they just simple things?
They are so simple.
Right. And they're not like huge. Yeah. They cause huge changes, but they're not, they're not these big things that you have to implement, and they're not hard to implement. It just takes a little bit of discipline, but then the effect is huge.
Yeah. And what I liked about it is that the homework every day, but doable homework, and it starts just easy, but you just have to be aware of them.
Right. And that's the thing. Oftentimes we don't stop long enough to have awareness. And then when your attention is drawn to it, I remember in our conversation, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I do get a little bit more mind spinning in the late afternoon. And I do, that's when things get a little frazzled and the energy gets a little tense. And And how about the nightly routines? I know with the 3 teenage girls in the house, at night, it was a hard time winding down, which is important again for a high Vata constitution. Yeah.
Well, they laughed at me, just going to bed early. And so my boyfriend, he likes staying up at late too. So, I had to really, stay strong. It's like, this is good for me. I have to do this.
Great. Yeah. And it is important to get that support on board, and just for them to understand that this is for your health, because you were having a lot of trouble with sleep, weren't you?
Yeah. True. Yeah, I was. And, sleeping way better now.
Great.
And, that improves daily life much more.
Fabulous. Yes. Oh, absolutely. That changes everything when you get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think it's the structure. It's the structure that was really important to get to get that. And that was Daily Habits course is perfect to teach you that. Yeah,
and I think particularly for, we always say for the Vata constitution, person high in Vata, which a lot of us are now because our society is all about multitasking and more. It's that routine, those daily routines. So you don't have to get up and think about, oh, what am I doing? They're in place. They're like brushing your teeth. You just do them automatically.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And so is there anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I told you the story about the elderly man.
Yes, I love this story.
Because I think that, that was really nice. Yeah. So I've known him for 30 years. Uh-huh. And we met at a birthday party, and he was like, there's something different about you.
Wow.
And I just looked at him and I said, I'm happy. And, we just looked each other in the eyes and just smiled and laughed, understanding. It just so nice.
I love that story. And you've known this elderly man for 30 years, and that he could recognize the energy, the difference in the energy.
Yes.
I get goosebumps every time I hear that.
I love that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So, I'm on the good path. I love learning more. I love listening to the podcasts, and because it just it keeps me on track.
Right.
Just learning.
Right. Yeah. It reinforces all the time. It's like, oh, yes. Because we can have a tendency to get out of habit. But then when you hear it over and over again, but the awareness, like you said earlier, the awareness is key. Just knowing that, oh, this is causing me to go out of balance, like working at these hours, or, going to sleep at this time, or not having these foods. This is what's causing this mind spinning, this feeling of being down and depressed, or this insomnia, and sometimes we don't, in our own minds, we don't relate our routine or our food types to these problems. We just think we're just, like you said at the start of conversations, like the doctor said, well, we can't change things, so this is just what it is. That's what I thought.
Everybody's busy. We have there's a busy lifestyle, and this is what it is.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. And so now you just got back from holidays with your girls?
Yes.
Great.
Which is really nice. Yeah, we had a really good time, on the beach, swimming and just enjoying each other. And
that's nice. That's nice.
It's definitely brought us so much closer to each other.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot on your plate. You're working full time from home and you're raising 3 girls, 3 teenagers at that. And then it's lovely to go away on vacation like that. And you can be more flexible. And then when you come back, we were talking about this, then when you come back, get back into those routines, So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. And, it's just, I couldn't do without them anymore. I mean, that's, I really want to go back into the routine because it makes me feel so, structured and more at ease, comfortable.
That's great. That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, music to my ears, and I'm so glad that you found the course so helpful.
Well, thank you, for all your, your information. Oh, and what I also wanted to say is that any questions I had, you answered them so, within an hour, within minutes. And it felt like you were really there with me a lot during the course. And you could not tell that we live in different countries.
Right. Well, that's good. That's important to me that people know that I'm going to support them all along the way.
Oh, yes. Every question I had, you were there with, good advice and very helpful.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah, that's very important because I think there's so many courses that you're just left to yourself. And I think having, and everyone is unique and has their own questions. So I make sure that's a priority for me, that if I'm supporting someone privately or in a group, that I'm there to answer the questions as they come up.
Yeah. And that helps a lot, just doing it together, and doing it with the group. And that was really good for me.
Great. Well, perfect. Well, I'm so glad. And hearing what that elderly man had to say, but more than anything, that your daughters were like, hey, mom's sitting there having a cup of tea. Now's a good time to chat and to open up. And that, I just loved hearing that. I thought that really just made me go, this is why I do what I do. Of course, it's for your health, but that's part of your health as well as your relationships with those near and dear to you, and it's a beautiful thing. So Sabine, thank you so much. I think this is really going to help people when they hear your experience. And is there anything else or advice you want to add, or any other things you want to say before we finish up here?
I advise everybody to do the Daily Habit Show because it's so nice and easy to do in your busy life, and it's so worthwhile. It gives you so much in return to do that. Do the course.
You. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, and
you're welcome.
Continued health. And I know you're doing great. You were, really focused on taking care of your health and well-being, and that focus and discipline has paid off. So keep me posted on how you're doing. I always love to hear the updates.
Okay, thank you, and thank you just for being you and doing all the wonderful things that you do.
Oh, my pleasure, Sabine, and thank you for sharing your story. Take good care of yourself, and we'll connect soon.
All right, thank you.
Okay, ciao.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. So that was Sabine, and I really appreciate her coming on the show and sharing her story and how wonderful it was. As you make changes to yourself, your energy changes and people around you feel that energy shift. You don't even have to say anything. They'll just feel something different. They'll feel maybe that you're more open, you're more relaxed, they can communicate more, or, and it's very different for each person. It's very individual. That's why when each person is going through the courses or the cleanses, I tailor the cleanse or the courses to them. And as questions come up, it's, I always tailor it to a person's lifestyle. It has to fit in with your lifestyle. So again, thanks to Sabine for sharing that story. And I hope you found it useful. So after hearing Sabine's story, if you're interested in doing the Daily Habits for a Holistic Health course, like I said, it's an ongoing self-paced course that you can do privately starting anytime. And of course, I'm there to support you along the way. Or I host it twice a year in a group format. And the next one will be October 27th of 2018. And I'll put a link in the show notes where you can sign up for the group format and we can support each other along the way. And so next, I want to go to a recording that our dear regular guest, Amy Wheeler, left. Amy left a voicemail recording for us for the anniversary episode. And as you know, Amy is a regular guest on the podcast and people love the episodes of Amy. I'm hearing great feedback on those and we love our conversations. We're just like two peas in a pod and it just flows with us and we really bounce off each other well. So here is Amy's recording.
Hello, Colette. This is Amy Wheeler, one of your podcast guests on a regular basis. And I just want to say I am so, so happy for you guys to have completed a full year. And it's been such a successful year. It's amazing what you've been able to do in this year and how many people you've been able to touch. And I want to tell the world about you. I think you're doing such great work in the world and serving so many people. So happy birthday, 1 year anniversary. And I know that you will have continued success. And please call on me anytime that you need help with this amazing endeavor that is raising the consciousness of humanity.
And thank you, Amy, for that lovely message. So Amy and I, like I said, we get along very well. The story was, I don't think we ever told it. I met Amy when I was living in California. And the minute I met her, I had a feeling that we were going to work together. And I think I even said it to her then. And then a year, maybe 2 years later, then I asked her to come on the podcast as a guest. And here we are now working together on a regular basis. And we have great fun recording our podcast episodes together. And I actually want to play you one episode where we had a blooper. And it is hilarious. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to listen to it. And in this recording, you'll hear Amy in deep discussion and conversation. And I just ask you to listen in the background and all will be revealed. But listen to the background noises here. It's hilarious. At least I think it is anyway. So here you go. Here's something from the blooper reel.
That according to neurosciences, we have a picture of ourselves in our brain, whether we're very thin or overweight or, we have a map in our brain of what we look like. And that what you see in your mind actually creates your reality. It impacts the experiences that you have in life. And you might say, well, how does that happen? We all say, yes, what you think you become. Like, we understand that. But how does it happen? And neuroscience is starting to figure out that the parts of your brain that are involved with the image you have of yourself, that's like your lens of who you are, they actually ping to create certain somatic sensations in your body. Like, oh, I've got heaviness around my hips, or my stomach feels this way, or my breasts or my arms. Like, there's a strong connection between how you see yourself and how you feel yourself. Are you with me so far?
Yeah, Amy, I have to, I'm actually in stitches here. Is there a dog behind you snoring?
Yes, there is.
I was trying to stop laughing.
I can't believe you can hear him.
I was trying to hold it in, and you sounded so good. I didn't have the heart to interrupt you, but
oh my God. Okay, should I get him out of here?
I'm sorry, doggy, but all you can hear is.
Okay, I'll get him out.
Oh my God, that was priceless. I'm going to have to keep that for the blooper reel.
I gotta get my husband.
George,
help me, I gotta go out of here. Sorry. Help me. She was like, yeah.
He's like, girls, you are so boring.
Oh my God.
Bobo.
Come on.
Come on, Bodhi. Come on, let's go downstairs.
Sorry, Bodhi.
Come on.
Oh, boy.
Come on. He'll come. Come on.
Oh,
Come on,
God.
downstairs. Come.
Oh, I was literally trying to hold it together, and I was like, oh, maybe it's one snore and he'll stop, and then it just kept going. I was like,
Okay. She could totally hear it. I didn't even, I was so focused, I couldn't hear it. But
She's still on the line?
yeah, she's still on the line.
Okay.
She had to interrupt me and say, Amy, this is not working. So do you know how far back it started?
I think you'll have to go back to the start to get it. Yeah, because there was a big snore. But you sounded so good. I just didn't have the heart to stop you. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just one or two. Maybe people will notice. And then it was like, oh no.
Okay. Bye, honey.
Saki's okay?
I just sent you a picture of it, so you'll know who the culprit was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good God, that's hilarious. Okay.
So I hope you got as much of a kick out of that as myself and Amy did. It was pretty hilarious to hear that dog just snoring wildly in the background. If you actually want to hear that episode, what Amy was talking about was very interesting. It was number 33, the emotional eating episode. And I'm going to put that photo of Bodhi, the snoring dog, on the Facebook group so you can put a picture to the snores. But yeah, I figured I'd just throw that in there because that was just hilarious. So these type of things happen when we're recording, and we often have to do do-overs. There could be a plane going overhead, church bells from my village, or one of us is losing our train of thought or something. So yeah, so we put a lot of work into these episodes and definitely have fun along the way. So you can check out the Elements of Ayurveda Facebook group for that picture of Bodhi, the snoring dog. Okay, let's continue on here. So now I want to share another chat I had with a client of mine, Katya. We had Sabine earlier from Europe, and now we have Katya who is in the US. And Katya is going to share her experience. She has actually done the cleanse and the daily habits course. So here is Katya explaining her journey with Ayurveda. Hi, Katya.
Hi.
Katya, can you tell me what made you go into Ayurveda? Why did you go towards Ayurveda in the first place?
16 years ago, I had my daughter. And after that, I started having problems with my digestive system. I went through a bunch of different tests, and they found nothing. But I knew something was wrong. I wasn't sure what it was. So I was looking for a different way to get better. And one of the ways I came across a book about Ayurveda, and from then I started researching more and doing more.
Okay.
And it helped. Even that little bit that I found helped, so I started doing more research.
Great. And so it was mostly digestive problems, right, that you had?
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell me then, what did you start doing on your Ayurvedic journey? How did you begin? You started researching, and where did you go from there?
I started with simple tests that you can find in many different places.
Oh, the dosha quiz.
Dosha quiz.
Perfect.
I started eliminated a lot of food, which helped, but it didn't really... I didn't feel like I used to feel, and that's what I wanted.
Oh, right. So it really happened for you after the birth of your daughter. Things shifted, and then you started just doing the elimination diet, which a lot of people do. But instead of solving the problem, it's just you're eliminating foods from your life, but you're not getting really to the root of the problem. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then you contacted me, and can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Well, through my different trying and failing many times, when you do it on your own, it's kind of a long way to go.
Yes.
So I started looking, see if I can get somebody who can help me faster. And that's where I started listening to your podcast, and I decided to try your cleansing program.
That's right. You did the online digestive reset cleanse.
Yes.
Great. And so what was your experience on that? So when I do a cleanse with people, I had that 90-minute online consultation with you, and we chatted all about your health and your lifestyle and your circumstances. And then I tailored the cleanse to you. What was your experience on that cleanse, Katya?
First of all, I was able to figure out my dosha right, because I always thought I was Vata dosha, and then you were able to help me, and it made sense. I found out that I'm Vata Pitta.
Right.
So I found out that I'm Vata Pitta dosha. That actually helps to adjust your diet better.
Right.
And many things will make sense. And then going through cleanse, it wasn't that hard for me, because I used to eliminate certain things or be on a mono diet. It felt like it really reset my body.
Right.
And the result for me didn't show up right away. Like, for example, in the week 4 or 5, it took a few weeks for me to realize how much different I felt.
Okay.
And that little changes after I went through this cleanse, it made a big difference in every day.
Right.
And I just can't explain. I just know I feel so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I read the testimonial you wrote after that cleanse?
Yes.
And actually, you did the cleanse and then you did the Daily Habits course after that, right?
Yes.
The Daily Habits for a Holistic Health course. I'm going to talk to you about that in a moment. But let me read the testimonial, because I think this is a really great testimonial. You said that I have completed both programs with Colette, the Digestive Cleanse and the Daily Habits course. I've had a lot of digestive problems since my daughter was born and could not find anything to help. Diets would just not work. In all honesty, they just messed me up even more. And then you have to recover from the effects of that diet again and again. I've learned about Ayurveda through books and online videos, and I've personally read and followed the principles. It helped a lot. But going through the cleansing program with Colette's help was a life changer. Not only do you have a plan to follow that is adjusted for you, you don't have to worry if you're doing it right, because you have a knowledgeable professional to help you all the way. After the cleanse, I now have better digestion, less stress, since I don't have to worry about needing to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, and I just feel like a normal person again. So I think that was a really great testimony, because it really helps people with digestive problems. A lot of people are embarrassed by them, and I think you just sharing that, like, that need, like, I don't have to run to the bathroom every 5 minutes, especially when you're in work and stuff. It can be hard to go about your daily activities. So it was great, and of course I love it that I'm able to help people find relief from these digestive problems that are really hampering their life, because obviously that was really affecting your life. Right, your digestive problems?
Yes, especially when you never had any problems and then you have one. That's really can affect your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then you decided to go through the Daily Habits for a Holistic Health course. What made you decide to do that after the cleanse?
I just want a more understanding of what I was doing every day, more routine and more part of your life.
Right.
So you don't have to think about it.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of the Daily Habits course, is to solidify these simple daily practices. It's great. And thank you for sharing your experience. So what advice would you give to others thinking about starting out on the journey with Ayurveda to help them on their healing journey? Would you have any advice to share?
I would say save time. It's great to do it on your own. But if I knew back then, I would save my time and found a practitioner who would help me. It will help you save time, save money on trying different wrong treatments and vitamins and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Find practitioner who will help you right away. It will save you time and money.
Yeah, exactly. And then it can be tailored to you. So you're not, sometimes we're taking supplements and thinking that they're good for us, but they could be causing further aggravation depending on our birth dosha and on our imbalances if we have one. So that's great advice. Well, Katia, thank you so much. And I have really enjoyed supporting you on your healing journey. And I know you've been inspired, right, to continue with Ayurveda?
Yes. I actually signed up for Joyful Belly class, Master Digestion.
That's so fantastic, Katia. I'm so excited for you to go forward and study more Ayurveda. Great. Well, I thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Katia. Take good care of yourself and keep me posted on how you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So there you go, Katya's story. It was so great to hear her journey. And now that she's gone through her own healing journey, she's interested in studying Ayurveda. And I am collaborating with Joyful Belly now to bring you lots more Ayurvedic nutrition going forward on the podcast. John Immel, the owner of Joyful Belly, the great Ayurvedic resource website, which I recommend to all my clients, is going to be a regular guest on the podcast because in the latest poll that I did, the number one request was for more Ayurvedic nutrition information. So John and I will be discussing lots more about Ayurvedic nutrition and cooking to help you implement some new foods and get a better understanding of how these foods affect your doshas, etc. So that's a lot of exciting episodes to come. Now, also, John has very generously given us a scholarship to the Joyful Belly School. So for each person in the Elements community, John has awarded a $750 scholarship to each of their online courses. Now, the great thing about the Joyful Belly online courses is that they're 100% online. A lot of courses require you to come once a semester or once a quarter to meet up, and that can be hard because we're all over the world. But in the Joyful Belly School, 100% online, and you meet up in online as well in chat groups. So that's fantastic. So there is a component of community there. So the two courses are the Ayurveda Health Counselor course, which is a 750-hour program covering all the Ayurvedic fundamentals to become a certified Ayurvedic health counselor and start seeing clients. And that starts August, the end of August 2018. So that's starting very soon. And also, the other course is the Master Digestion and Nutrition that Katya has signed up for. This is a 500-hour certification course for those wishing to specialize in digestion and nutrition and becoming an Ayurvedic digestive health coach. And sometimes people are just interested in taking these courses for their own knowledge. That Master Digestion and Nutrition course starts October 2018. So I'll put the link in the show notes. Use that link to go on over to the Joyful Belly School. They'll know that you came from the Elements community and that they will award you then the $750 scholarship. So that's very exciting. And like I said, we're going to be doing a lot more episodes on Ayurvedic nutrition. You requested it. I listened. So that's coming up in the future. And so now I'd love to play another voicemail that I received from Jo in Australia. So here's Jo talking about her experience with Ayurveda.
Hi, Colette. Just wanted to say thank you for your podcasts. They're just so practical and useful, and I especially like the ones you do with Amy. Just gives everybody real-life examples of how Ayurveda can help in everyday situations. I've implemented Dinacharya and can't believe the difference in how my hormones are balanced. I feel calmer, I'm able to cope with stress a lot better, and I'm loving life at the moment. So thank you very much for all your helpful information, and I'll keep listening to all your podcasts. Thanks, Colette.
So that was Jo from Down Under in Australia, and we had done a consultation, and she's a busy mom, always on the go, but we talked about her Dinacharya, her daily habits. And with each client, I make sure that I listen to their needs and their lifestyle. So rather than just me trying to fit a certain program on them, it's very important for me to listen to their lifestyle, hear what's realistic for them, and then to fit in around their lifestyle. There's no point in me giving the same program to everyone and be like, this is how you do it and you must do this, this, and this. So again, I have a 90-minute consultation with each person. I really listen to their life, their schedule, what's going on, what are their stressors, and then we fit the daily habits in around the life, that person's life, because I certainly don't want to be the cause of extra stress. So it's all about alleviating stress, putting these daily habits on autopilot so that we can keep the body in balance and the mind in balance and support you in your day-to-day activities, in our daily lives, in our busy lives. So it's wonderful to hear Jo just loving life, hormones balanced, and really feeling that she's just loving her life right now. So music to my ears. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about the future of the podcast. I'm going to continue with the weekly shows. As I said, I love doing them. And as I just mentioned, John Immel from Joyful Belly is going to be joining as a regular guest to talk about Ayurvedic nutrition. Amy's going to continue coming on, and we're going to have our chats. Also, on that poll that I ran on the Elements of Ayurveda podcast Facebook group, there was other requests, and I've read them all and listened, and I'm going to do a lot more on the Ayurvedic philosophy. And also there was a interest in healing modalities as well, different healing modalities. I've done a couple of guest interviews with different healing modalities in the show, and I will continue to do that. Also, we're going to talk more about the environment and how we can take care of Mother Nature, and that's very important in today's world. And there's going to be lots more interviews, and definitely I'm going to continue putting a lot more of the Ayurvedic wisdom out there. You know, I'm continuing to learn. I'm doing courses constantly so that I can make sure that I'm giving you the best information, and I'm passionate about learning more and more Ayurveda. So what I learn, I will digest and then put it out there for you. But I always want to make sure that my information is top notch and good quality, and making sure that I'm getting it from great sources. So I'm excited about the future of the podcast. Many of you share that you're just really enjoying it, and I truly appreciate it. If you know people who could benefit from this information, if they're having a hard time with their health or just having challenging time in their life, I feel that, you know, sharing the gift of Ayurveda with them is fantastic, and just encourage them to listen to the first couple of episodes to learn the basics and see if it is for them. And of course, I always would love a rating and review in iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast, because these reviews allow me to come up in searches, and that means that people can find the podcast, and then we can help more people and get more people in balance and make the world a better place, but one person at a time. So I would really appreciate if you haven't already done so, and for those of you who have left me a rating and review, thank you. Some beautiful reviews, and I obviously read them all, and they're really touching to me, and I really appreciate your feedback. But if you haven't done so, I would love for you to do so. Just take a few minutes, and just know that I would be very grateful for it, and we spread the word a little more. And talking about spreading the word, I'm now going to play another voicemail from Kate, who's also from Australia, and she just discovered the podcast and is actually new to Ayurveda as well. And she is helping spread the word of the podcast in her hometown with her friends. So I appreciate it, Kate. And here's her lovely voicemail.
Hi, Colette. It's Kate from down here in Australia. I just wanted to say to you how much I'm enjoying your podcast and learning so much. Being that I live in such a big country down here, my drive into work is an hour each way, and I spend most of that time now listening to all your podcasts, and I've actually gotten through just about all of them, and I feel like I've learned so much and feel like I've really connected with you. So this experience and adventure into Ayurveda is very new to me, but it's something that's really I feel very connected with, and thoroughly enjoy listening to you speak every day, and really want to connect further with you. But being this busy lifestyle that we have, I haven't gotten around to it quite yet, but it is on my list of things to do, and I'll definitely get there. But until then, I just wanted to send you a quick message to say how much I appreciate it, and how far your message is spreading, because I'm sharing it with a lot of friends down here as well, and we're all benefiting a lot from it. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Kate, for spreading the word. It really means a lot to me that you're sharing with others, and you're giving the gift of healing for others, because they're just learning about Ayurveda and how it can help them in their life is just fantastic. So you're doing your bit as well. And since that message, Kate has gone on and booked the discovery call with me. So I'll be chatting with her very soon and looking forward to connecting with her. And I just want to remind you guys again out there, if you haven't done so, take advantage advantage of that free 20-minute discovery call that I offer. This is where we can connect on Skype or FaceTime, or I can send you a free Zoom link, and we can chat and talk about your current situation. If there's particular health issues going on, if you have some questions, I can give you tips and guidelines and help you understand how Ayurveda can help you on your healing journey as well. So I'll put a link in the show notes to that. Go ahead and book there. And of course, not forgetting the big 1-year anniversary competition that I was running, and the winners are going to be announced in the Elements of Ayurveda podcast group on August the 10th, Friday, August the 10th, 2018. So go on over there and check it out. Check out the winners. Of course, I'll be in touch with each of the winners privately, and then I'll be announcing it on my newsletter the following Tuesday. And this is the end of our 1-year anniversary podcast episode. Again, I am so thankful to you, so grateful for you helping me spread the word of Ayurveda and really making the show a success. And I look forward to doing many more episodes and serving you and giving you lots of information and putting it out there. And we'll do our bit in spreading the word of Ayurveda to others and helping to get people in balance so that they can enjoy their lives. And, you know, it's our birthright to be happy and healthy, and that's what we want for people. So thank you so much. And I'll add all those links in the show notes, the scholarship from Joyful Belly, the cleanse information, the cleanse, Digest Reset Cleanse is happening September 27th. Then the next Daily Habits for Holistic Health course starting October 27th. Of course, those 2 dates are for the group cleanse and the group Daily Habits course. But if you want to start them privately, you can do that at any time with me. And I'll also put the links for the podcast Facebook group and also the services. So thanks again, everybody, for making this podcast a success. It's because of you, and I really appreciate your continued support. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Until then, take good care of yourself, be well, and remember, self-care is very important. So continue to take care of you first before you can go out there and help other people. Okay, all the best. Bye for now.